Welcome back to React Native Radio Podcast. Brought to you by Apathy. Yeah. Episode 283, From Side Hustle to Top Charts with Simon Reggiani.
Robin, did you ever get into Wordle back in the day when that was really popular?
Yes, I was pretty obsessed for a while, and I recently got back into it. Actually.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I'm on like a 25-day streak right now. So
is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
My whole family sends them back and forth, and Travis and I compete every morning.
There's something about Wordle it's like a shared experience because it is the same word for everybody.
Yeah, everyone has the same puzzle every day, and I think the brilliance of Wordle was really the sharing mechanism, because you could do it and share your result without spoiling the puzzle for everyone else. And It was a brilliant, just simple emojis, but showed how well you did it. Yeah, I think that really contributed to it going viral.
I always think that I want to make a little game of some sort, but I do think that you need some sort of viral mechanism like that. That would be really cool. It would be a big deal to be able to share something, but not spoil it. If you were to spoil the word, people would get very upset with you.
Right, because it's
there's a lot of social pressure.
This little bit of dopamine that you get, you look forward to every day. You're like, I'm going to do my Wordle. And if someone ruins it, it just,
Yeah. It's also time boxed. You do it and you're done. It's not
and you can't just do it endlessly. You just do your little Wordle for 5 minutes and then move on with your day. And
do you play any endless, mindless games?
Right now I don't. I used to play I don't even remember what it's called. It's the Candy Crush type games that you can just get sucked into and play for. I used to play those. I don't really anymore. I just don't have time.
Yeah, I play chess, but I've really not played a lot of the timed games lately. I play against people I know, and we do 5-day games, so you just pick it up, make a move, and you put it down. And
I used to do that with Words with Friends. I used to love that sort of take your turn and then wait however many hours till your friend does it.
Yeah. Well, I made a move right before this recording and hung my queen, so today's going great.
Sorry about that.
I guess I should get to introductions. I'm Jamon Holmgren, your host, friendly CTO of Infinite Red. I live in the beautiful and sunny today Pacific Northwest with my wife and 4 kids. I play chess, I play recreational hockey, and I do drive my tractor whenever I get an excuse to. It's actually back up and running, which is nice. I'm joined today by my vivacious co-host, Robin.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, vivacious. That's a new one. We haven't used that one before. I checked. I don't think it's been used.
It's getting harder and harder.
Anyway. I know, I don't know when we're going to have to give up on this, but so far, so good. So far, so good. Robin is Director of Engineering at Infinite Red. She's located west of Portland, Oregon, with her husband and 2 kids, and has specialized in React Native for the past 6 years, and is now getting into more leadership and management stuff. So, yeah, fun stuff.
It is fun.
And I'm really excited to introduce our guest today, Simon Reggiani. Simon is a principal front-end engineer living in Toronto, Canada. He has 12 years of mobile and web experience. He's originally from Toulouse, France. Yeah, Toulouse. Okay. I kind of butchered it, but you get the point. From France anyway. Welcome, Simon.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. I'm really excited to get into this topic. Before we get into that, let's hear from our sponsor.
Infinite Red. Infinite Red is a premier React Native design and development agency located fully remote in the US and Canada. If you're looking for React Native expertise for your next React Native project, hit us up at infinite.red/React Native. Don't forget to mention that you heard about us through the React Native Radio podcast.
All right, today our topic is From Side Hustle to Top Charts. And this is a fun one because I think there's a lot of people who would love to have had the experience that you did, Simon. We did our warmer today talking about Wordle, and that's very relevant in this case. You built a Wordle clone in a week. It became immensely popular. You reached number 2 on the top iOS game charts and eventually sold it to a game studio. This is like a really interesting story, and I think a lot of people listening today would love to have had this experience. So I'm going to start you off, Simon. How did you come up with the idea to build Wordus?
So this was during the Christmas holidays in 2021. I was playing Wordle like everybody else at the time, I think, pretty much every single day. And I was at the time an engineering manager for a big fintech company in Canada. And I was really missing coding. I needed to scratch that itch. And so I decided to work on some side projects over the holidays. And yeah, I also wanted to learn more about Expo EAS because they, I think, just released it that month. And it seemed like super interesting. I was working on all CI/CD stuff at the big fintech company, and it seemed that it was streamlining a lot of that. So I wanted to try it out. So yeah, I built a simple clone also for myself to be able to play Wordle more than once a day. Like I was bored. It was COVID peak time, couldn't travel back to Europe for Christmas. So yeah, I built a quick clone just for myself and some friends. And yeah, the rest was a little bit of history.
And tell us a little bit about this stack. I know it was React Native, but what specific stack were you using?
Yeah, so I wanted to use like Expo for everything, might as well, because I was gonna try this EAS pipeline. And then that's pretty much it, because the stack was very simple. I used TypeScript because I'm coming from strongly typed languages in my past. I use useState for state management. Nice. Only a couple of screens using React Navigation, and async storage for saving the stats.
Yeah. So
no backends, nothing. If you uninstall, you lose your stats.
Oh wow. Okay.
That was the deal.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty simple concept. A couple screens. I think probably I'm most interested in, like, for something like this where it's a game. Animations probably played a huge role because it's a lot different from the typical kind of apps that we build, which are fetch data, display data, edit data. A game is like something really different. So I'm curious what sort of animations you did and how you manage the performance of those. And I'm just curious.
Yeah. Again, I might disappoint you all on this answer, but didn't put any animations at all. Like, it was just plain static. You enter, there was like a grid like Wordle, and then a keyboard that was actually built custom. I didn't want to having to use like inputs and the real keyboard, so I actually rendered a keyboard layout, and everything was static. You enter a key and it was there right away. I had some plans, like when I got into the process of like selling the app. Just before that, I wanted to add more features, and animations was a big one. I had a plan to use reanimated layout animations, like when you enter a key, it should like pop in, like enter and exit animations, basically. But didn't get to it.
It doesn't seem to have mattered.
No, exactly. Maybe that's why people like to.
Yeah,
it was just
it's really lightweight,
simple.
really really simple.
Yeah, it speaks a lot to, like I do love animations. Like I have a pedometer app that, when you hit a certain step goal, it will like do a bunch of like green confetti down from the top. It's really fun. And I do look forward to that. Like when I hit that, I open it up, I look.
It's like
it's
the
cool.
solitaire at the end of the solitaire game when all the cards go.
Oh yeah, from way back they would like bounce through. Yeah. But at the same time, people are there to play the game. They're not there to watch animations. And so the game is the thing that's bringing them back every time. And it speaks to the fact that you can release something that really just gets at the core of what people's user experience is. And you don't have to necessarily, flesh it all out with all these fancy things. You can do that. Like that can be a thing a stretch goal that you go for, but that doesn't have to be what's holding you back from shipping.
Yeah, totally. It also was simple for me to just build something like V0 and then ship. And the plan was to make it better over time. didn't get to that. But
So was the app then like purchased before you like had a chance to even make it better? What was the whole story behind getting it sold and that sort of timeline?
Yeah, I did get to maybe publish half a dozen versions with some improvement, mostly on how can I accelerate the growth even more. Mm-hmm. And one big hack was asking for store review, like native store review with the pop-up. And after, I think it was after like 3 successful games. That was very important.
Yeah.
Because I know the user are happy. The user
That's really
interesting.
Like, so. We had a talk at Chain React this past summer about App Store reviews and the timing that goes into it. Like when you ask,
it's a whole art
because when you ask is really important because the user has to like be like really like happy and satisfied at that moment because you only get like 3 chances or something like that.
3 times a year or something.
Yeah. And if they say, no, I don't want to rate it, then like you can't ask again for 4 months or something like that.
Yeah, it's definitely an art.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine popping that up right after a bug or after
crash.
they fail
like,
something.
How are you
just
enjoying
have
the
such
app?
horrible reviews. People are very fickle. Like you have to be very judicious.
And also not asking on App Start, which I've seen apps do.
Yeah, I would just be like, nope, close.
I don't know yet. Yeah, like
exactly.
why are you asking for this?
Or even App Start after 5 App Starts. Like you open the app for an intent and you don't want to block the user's intent. So it has to be at the end of a flow.
Right.
Yeah.
They're on a mission. They want to go do the thing. So you don't stop them. Yeah.
It's the same thing with like asking for location or asking for push notifications. Mm-hmm. Like don't do it on start. If you're doing it on start, you're doing it wrong. Like do it when they hit a button that like would require that thing. Or if you have to, like if the app really, really needs this, have a nice, like, gentle, warming them up, screen. Like, hey, we have to ask for these things in order to do these things. Here's why.
Hey, give me all your info.
Yeah, right. Here's what we do with your info. Now hit this button and you will get the pop-up. Like, they have the control. They feel like they have the control.
Yeah.
Anyway, rant over. It sounds like you did it right, though, Simon.
Apps, yeah. Did you get good reviews?
Yeah. It was pretty clear after that release. I got way more reviews, and I have got from probably 4.5 to 4.9.
Wow.
In like a couple of days, because it was like very biased towards people are happy with their successful.
Yeah, like, I won. Yeah. Do you think it was like easier, harder, comparable to the original Wordle? Like, did people find it easier, and that's why they like were really happy to get wins?
No, I think some people actually complain about very difficult words, because the problem, the thing with Wordle, I think they made the difficulty level go each day, and it was easier at first, and it became a bit harder. I think now, and mine was just dumb .random math.random to pick an index of out of the 800 words that I built.
Wordle is definitely more curated. Like they pick words very intentionally, I think.
Especially now with being part of New York
Times. Yeah, they're very intentional.
So you said that you were doing this in part, at least, to learn EAS, Expo Application Services, and kind of how that whole workflow thing went. Like, what was your takeaway from EAS? What did you think of it?
Yeah, it was amazing. I was an engineering manager of a mobile platform team at a big company, and we had a whole team managing CI/CD pipelines, and being able to just configure some stuff, give some keys from Apple and Google, and it would do everything automatically. It was like felt like magic. And that also, I think this is why the app got popular, because I was able to ship really quickly. And if I had to do everything myself, I would have spent weeks on that. So super happy with that. And Expo itself, I really see the point. I haven't been able to start a project yet in my professional career, but I am actually starting one next month, web and mobile using Expo. And I can't wait.
Yeah, then this was what year did you say this was? This is pretty early on in EAS's.
December 2021.
This was very early EAS. So it's gotten even better since then. Everyone I know who uses EAS loves it. I mean, you've listened to the podcast. You know we're big Expo fans over here.
Did you run into any like weird bugs or like funny behavior when you were building the app? Was there anything that kind of like you kind of made you laugh when you were testing and it was like, oh, that's kind of weird?
Maybe. Well, this one is a bit more embarrassing. First, I managed to get a list of 300,000 English words ranked by popularity. And so I did a script to find only the ones that are 5-letter words, and did a little bit of like scanning on like the first 100, and they looked all right. And so I picked like the first 1,000, I think, in the code to pick from. And I shipped that, and I think one of them was, I forgot exactly, something like slave or like something like pretty negative.
Oh no.
And they complained. They actually posted on Twitter. There was like a thread on it.
No.
It became like a thing. And so I quickly tried to find a way, and I basically sent the 1,000 words to my wife and asked her to filter out the negative. And
this
like,
was
they were
before.
like really bad words
I
too.
bet if it happened now, you could have AI filter the list for you.
Yeah, I would have
This was
used
pre
ChatGPT for that. Yeah, my wife was ChatGPT at the time.
Wow, I didn't even think of that. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, embarrassing.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh man.
But your wife came and saved the day, it sounds like.
Yeah, she did. She spent the whole weekend on that.
Oh wow.
What about App Store review? Did you run into any hiccups?
I was really scared because when I finished like the development and sent it to a few friends for beta testing, again thanks to EAS for like the test flight and internal testing on Play Store, it was like super seamless, and it was ready to ship. And I was worried because right around that week I wanted to ship, there was a few clones that got famously banned, and there was this guy on Twitter who was like bragging about the fact that he made tons of money out of it, and then complained that it was rejected the next day. So I was really worried, like, am I going to be rejected? And it went through super smoothly. The first ever apps release that I've done in my career that didn't get rejected.
Wow.
Like 5 times. So pretty happy with that. And I think the reason why it was not rejected was the fact that I didn't have Wordle in the name, and also didn't have any sort of monetization whatsoever. Like no ads, no in-app purchase or anything. So I think I probably went through
they're more like they care more about people who are trying to profit off of stealing an idea, whereas you were just doing it for fun,
like myself.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had any monetization strategies, or did you go in like you went in trying to just like have fun and learn and like practice with EAS. Did you go in like picturing anybody wanting to buy it, or that being a sort of end result?
Not at all. At first, I just wanted to do it for myself and to learn something new. And it only, I think I had a few 100,000 downloads. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. But when my brother-in-law in the US sent me, hey, I saw someone at a restaurant playing Word Us, and I'm 100% sure it's Word Us because the colors were really funky. Like, what is going on? Like, your thing is booming. And so I'm like, okay, this is actually getting pretty big. And I think a couple of days later, it was 1 million downloads. And that's when I started to do some math on like, what if I had a little bit of a banner ad or interstitial ad, and did some math, and it was a lot of money, like every day that was potential. So I still didn't want to monetize it because I wanted to see how far it can grow. And my goal was to, at this point, like not monetize it myself, but probably sell it to someone.
Yeah. How long after you shipped it did the game studio approach you?
It was, so I finished, I think, the implementation end of December, shipped it beginning of January. End of January, it was 1.5 million downloads, and that's when I started the process.
So
of
did you reach out to them, or did they approach you?
No, so there was at first a couple of individuals reaching out on Twitter, and interesting in selling. And the first person who sent me a number, I was like, "Oh, this is clearly a scam. Like, this is way too much for this tiny little thing." And it's only when there was a couple of game studios reaching out on LinkedIn. I guess they found my name as like the developer on App Store, and they were pretty serious, and they were looking for acquiring it, basically to get the spot and the number of downloads, and then replacing it with their own apps. Both of them already had built the app, the clones,
but they just wanted to buy the spot,
and
basically.
they just wanted to the spot. Yeah, exactly.
So like if you download Wordist today, which you can, it's not your game at all.
It's not
like it doesn't even look like your game.
It is exactly the same color schemes. The layout is the same. They tried to replicate the layout a little bit, but they added
way more
they
features, added like all the there's like
leaderboards
gems and like trophies and timer. Yeah, they turned it into a standard mobile game.
Yeah,
a big thing.
So I think the audience wants us to ask, Simon, was this millions of dollars? Or are we talking paying your rent for a few months, or you pretty much retired now?
Yeah, totally. Obviously can't share the numbers. Yeah. That was part of the contract. But when a friend of mine asked me that question, he framed it in a good way. He asked me, like, is it buying a car kind of money, buying a house kind of money, or retiring kind of money? Yeah. And it's the house kind of money.
Okay.
Well,
gotcha.
That's not bad for a side project.
Which is insanely high for
it is.
A week of coding and then a month of like dealing with buyers and contracts.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Would you say this is your most successful side project?
Oh, by far. The first one I did was an Android app. I was a Java enterprise dev in 2010. And wanted to learn about mobile, so I built this Android app to download subtitles on your phone. And I got, I think, about 600,000 downloads when I sold it to a studio in Estonia for some reason, and they wanted to buy it for way less money than this.
Sure. Yeah. But still, I mean, you got something out of it, and obviously you didn't go into these with necessarily trying to make lots of money. You had some other ideas on things you wanted to learn. Yeah,
totally. This is something that I try to follow, like have principles to follow when I'm picking a side project to work on. The first one is I need to have the need myself to use that product. Second one, I would like to learn something new in the tech world, whether it's a new language, a new platform, learning backends. This time was EAS for some reason. And then the third thing is, if it does make money, then that's good. That's just the cherry on top.
I'm curious, like, you have a full-time job, and like, how do you make time for side projects? When do you normally work on them? Because like, I always find myself, oh yeah, that would be a fun side project, and then I get done with my workday and I just never find the time to pick something up. So when do you work on your side project?
Yeah, I definitely had way more time back in the days when I just started and was younger and bachelor and I would say, like, I'm lucky to love coding. Like, I love doing it so much that it's fun and I want to do it over the weekend if there's nothing to do, and either that or watching The Office for the third time.
Why not both is what I
probably. So that's what I'm doing these days, and I'm not on side project, but for work. But that's one thing. And I found also that I would do it more often over the winters when I'm not as active, and especially when I was in Vancouver. You guys know, on the West Coast, really rainy, not much to do. And so, I was working on side projects during that time.
That makes a lot of sense. It would also like make sense how this all happened. It was towards the end of COVID, but like COVID really spawned a lot of this kind of stuff because everyone was sort of stuck with nothing else to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's when I learned chess, which is much less productive and has wasted a lot more time. But
hey, it
has turned into a little bit of an obsession.
I think it's useful.
Yeah, I guess so. So Simon, what would you give in terms of advice to React Native developers that are looking to start their own side projects or do something like what you did?
Yeah. I mean, again, like maybe try to see these principles that have this idea of like building something for yourself, because you have the need and you're the best person to build this thing. And if you have the need, there might be other people that have the same need. And yeah, try to learn something new. It's always fun. Like we're software engineers, we love those new shiny objects. And yeah, it's the best way to learn about this is actually side projects. Like you don't want to introduce new stuff all the time at work. And then really think about mods.
I feel like some people in our audience needed to hear that, or they know someone who needs to hear that.
We've all been there, myself included.
Yeah, me too.
And then maybe the last thing is like, don't think about monetization at first. Like this, if it doesn't pay off financially, like it will pay off in terms of like career advancements. And yeah, this is like the Android app that I built, the very first side project that I built. Got me the job when I moved to Canada from France. Like they didn't care about my resume. They downloaded the app and they were like, okay, you're hired. This is like something that might not be financially like any financial outcome, but it will be useful anyway. I'm
a big believer in that. I think that all of the things that I tackle, they teach me something in some way, and sometimes I'll add certain constraints to it just to learn. So for example, recently I started working on a terminal ASCII, like ASCII, like little characters, emojis and whatnot game. That's sort of like an RPG. And the constraint I put on myself is that number one, it could only run on Bun, not Node. And number two, no dependencies. I had to write everything, everything. And I learned a ton, and I'm going way slower than I would have, but it's all about the learning for me. Yeah. It's not about, the end result necessarily. But obviously if you can get both, that's great.
So what's your current side project, or do you have any plans for ones in the future that you can share?
Yeah. Currently my side project is my biggest side project ever. I have a baby at home.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. He's going to be 1 year next month. And
that's the side project of all side projects. That's the reason I don't do side projects.
Yes.
I had a tweet a while ago where I said I have 4 side projects and I plan to start launching them in 4 years or whatever it was.
You're about to launch the first one in a couple
weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, definitely not. It might be even the opposite financially, but way more rewarding anyway.
I can confirm.
Absolutely.
I'm also working on like an awesome homemade food delivery startup called Cookin', and that is taking most of my coding attention and even like energy. So yeah, I don't really have much time outside of that.
We'll look forward to seeing that when it eventually hits number 2 in the App Store.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Exactly. Well, thanks a ton, Simon. Really appreciate you coming on and sharing your stories and, the insight into what happens there. If people have more questions, where can they connect with you online?
Yeah, on Twitter, I'm at sreg, so SREGG. Thank you, AOL, for picking that nickname that followed me the whole time.
You still have your old AOL screen name as your Twitter. That's epic.
Pretty good.
Yes. And it's everywhere.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Love it. So that's it for this episode. Robin, do you have a mom joke to take us out?
I do. This is from our joke king at Infinite Red, Carlin Isaacson. What happened when 19 fought 20?
I don't know.
21.
20. See you all next time.
Bye.
As always, thanks to our production team with editor Todd Worth, our assistant editor and episode release coordinator, yours truly, Jed Bartosky, our director of marketing, Justin Husky, and our guest coordinator, Derek Greenberg. Our producer and host is Jamon Holmgren, and executive producers and hosts are Robin Hines and Mazen Chameh. Thanks to our sponsor, Infinite Red. Check us out at infinite.red/React Native. A special thanks to all of you listening today. Make sure to subscribe to React Native Radio wherever you get your podcasts.